Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the Trade War SITREP, the situation report for the trade war. Lately, there's not a lot of very big developments. The last biggest development is actually the temporary deal, the 90-day suspension of the retaliatory tariff down to 10% between China and United States. So that was the biggest news. I have done a separate report on that already. You can watch that, but generally it is this deal where they have reduced, both sides decided to reduce the retaliatory or the reciprocal tariff to 10% for 90 days, only for 90 days, which is merely 3 months. So this, however, does not include the fentanyl tariff. The fentanyl tariff remains, so it's basically 30% on China and 10% from China on United States. And this also does not include all the other tariffs that United States have put on China, including steel, aluminium, all the trade-specific ones, and also does not include all these sanctions of technological stuff that is not allowed to export to China. Those like semiconductors, all those still remains there. The de minimis duty. So I need to actually show you this. The de minimis duty did drop from 120% to 54%. However, the $100 per poster item remains, just that the increase of this $100 that was due on the 1st of June is now postponed to another time. So there is no further increase. So for now, that is the case. So which means that the products, the by postal, these low cost direct postal products are still going to be priced out of the market. I think generally it's still going to be affecting the China trade. United States did not did step back a little bit from the original. I think it's 54% if I'm not wrong. So what was the original tariff? So announced 34%. So the original reciprocal tariff is 34%. Yeah, so it's 34%. So originally it was 34%. Over here, the discounted reciprocal tariff is 34% on China, and this is there's some kind of discount, but this merely just goes in line with basically every country in the world right now to facilitate negotiations. And the problem right now is that some countries, according to this article by Bloomberg, some countries are misreading this as an opportunity, or they think that they have more leverage on United States than they previously thought, because they felt like China got it very easily. They this just a little bit of talk, then suddenly they get this drop to 10% tariff for 90 days kind of thing. Then according to Bloomberg, this is not according to me. So Bloomberg say that some of the countries thought that China jumped queue. They did not queue up like every other countries to negotiate. Suddenly they jump queue and managed to get a deal or somewhat of a deal before the rest. But this is actually inaccurate framing of what's happening. All the entire meeting at Switzerland, at Geneva, is merely to de-escalate from this retaliation against each other in this trade war. This merely put China back in line with the rest of the countries. So and basically everybody is now getting the same deal. 90-day negotiation and meanwhile 10% import tariff. That's basically the thing. There is no special deal for China as of now. I think it's a misjudgment in terms of this this situation that the Bloomberg have highlighted. So like this guy from my country, Yusof Ishak Institute, Stephen Olsen, who is visiting fellow with the ISEAS, which is like a think tank in Singapore. So he says that many countries look at the outcome of the Geneva negotiation and concluded that they think that Trump overplayed his hand. I think this is a bit like a weird kind of a conclusion by him, because basically Trump gave everybody a 10% import tax right now. So, and that is 10% more than before April. So I'm not sure what he's talking about in that sense. So and also there's no difference between what they give China to literally everybody else. It's the same thing. So yeah, I just want to put this into perspective. Some of the major news since the last SITREP for the trade war includes the inflation report. So this the United States inflation continued to slow, and this is now the slowest pace of growth since 2021, and this however was noted that the tariff has not actually hit the consumer just yet, and the consumer price index has dropped down to 2.4% in March, and so this is actually no good news for the American citizens. That means there's not much inflation, and I think largely this is due to the fuel price. Because Donald Trump have successfully reduced the fuel price in United States, and I think that contributed most of the price reduction, because logistic costs reduced means everything is going to be reduced, from power to food. Delivery products, everything is going to be like cheaper. So that is the biggest thing that probably affecting the slowdown of the inflation. And this is also one of the things that is now causing a clash between the Fed, the Federal Reserve, and Donald Trump, because Donald Trump has been asking the Federal Reserve to cut interest, because if they don't cut, then the United States growth is going to be slowed down because of the lack of liquidity, and however the Federal Reserve don't want to reduce, probably because of the effect of the tariff is still unknown right now, despite that inflation is fallen so much. Because usually if the inflation is much lower, usually they were able to reduce the interest rate to let the inflation go up a bit. I'm not sure. So that is too technical, and I think there's no point to talk about for now. Trump is going to do what Trump is going to do. Then the Reserve, the Federal Reserve is going to do what they're going to do, and see how they're going to fight it out. The other big news is, of course, the Moody's rating. So the Moody's rating has cut United States sovereign credit rating down one notch from the highest rating, AAA, to AA1. So the main context about this thing is that Moody's has been the only main top three, the big three rating agencies that continue to put United States at the top tier. So basically almost everyone else has already dropped United States to the second tier rating, and some for a very, very long time. In the top three, two of them, Standard & Poor and Fitch rating, has already put it to AA plus since 2011, and another one since August 2023, which I feel that the Fitch rating for the August 2023 is pretty fair. There was a time where I know that the United States debt is increasing tremendously to the point where it's stupid, and Standard & Poor's one since 2011 does make sense to the because that's when they already starting to raise the amount of money they are loaning, and just that they are less they are more sensitive. Standard & Poor is more sensitive. Moody's is super not sensitive and not reactive. Like Fitch rating is way more reactive to the reality of the situation, and I find this timing really bad. We already have the news since 1 year ago that the interest repayment for United States has exceeded the defense spending in United States. and wouldn't that be already a red alert for Moody's to downgrade the rating? Why do they wait until now? So no, that is, I find it very political. Like they refuse to reduce it, no, and then when they decided to reduce it now, when no, it's Donald Trump, and where a lot of other things seems to be improving, whereas the general problem of the debt remains exactly the same actually. So I find it a little bit political. So so that is a bit unusual. However, if you read actually the full press release by the Moody's, they did say that in terms of the long-term local and foreign currency country ceiling remains at AAA. In fact, I think if I'm not wrong, the midterms is also considered at AAA. So the Moody's downgrading is merely for temporary situation. The current situation, they felt like no, it's not the best possible. And however, so they did mention all these things about the government failing to address this problem of this increasing fiscal deficit. But I believe this is going to be fixed under Trump's term, this 4 years, because this is one of the things that he ran on, and it seems to be one of the things that his administration and the people associated with his movement really wanted to do, is to balance the budget. I think the first 2 years is going to be a bit difficult to do that. At least the first year is definitely impossible, because the United States is now on a spending spree for military, because the military is currently insufficient to deal with the geopolitical problems that is facing the United States. And I just want to side note a bit. I just want to say my reports on the Trade War SITREP is not economics. I'm not doing economics report per se. I'm actually doing geopolitical reporting. So I just want to highlight this. People, if you ask an economist to do this report, it will look rather different from mine. Their analysis is going to be very different. So I just want to highlight, because geopolitical considerations is different from economic considerations. In economics, you will believe that you will want trade flow to move as efficiently as possible, for industry to grow as efficiently or as effective as possible. There is no like, I want to destroy you kind of thing. But in geopolitics, there is. In geopolitics, there is considerations where we're going to destroy you. We want to sanction the hell out of you. We want to, steal all your market share and everything. So the geopolitics is a little bit different. So if you look from an economics point of view, whatever Donald Trump is doing is stupid. It's totally stupid, because it's just making trade more and more inefficient, more and more barriers, more and more difficulties. And it's like it just made these very strong ties between United States and Chinese economies. Because there's a very strong time. Making it just difficult, and it benefits nothing. There's no benefit to it. And I think that is not invalid in terms of that kind of perspective. My perspective is different. My perspective is that this is a geopolitical battle. Just like, if you look from the European side, where they sanctioned Russia, that makes zero economic sense. True? Correct? They make their own things more expensive. And they cause massive, problems in terms of energy supplies and everything. The cost of buying energy, that is purely stupid. But if you look from a geopolitical perspective, from where the Europeans stand from, what they want to achieve geopolitically, they want to destroy Russia, they want to regime change Russia, or to weaken it tremendously, cause disintegration, then it makes perfect sense why the Europeans hell-bent on cutting Russian energy, sanction Russia, this even at the expense of their own economy. So we have to that's why I say you have to weigh, you have to look at it a bit differently. A geopolitical perspective is very different from an economic perspective. The economists will think this is a lot of things are stupid, but you see a lot of countries do stupid things because of the geopolitical objectives. So I just want to put this into perspective. So So these are the two major news, both related to United States. The every country is now negotiating. They saw the UK deal. They are unsure. On the European side, the EU says that they are not rushing for a deal. They don't want a quick deal. They want a good deal. So that's the European perspective, and the United States also have said, I think Scott Bessent said that it's a bit difficult to negotiate with the Europeans because EU they are a bloc. They are not one country, so they have too many partners within it. So it makes negotiation very complicated. So unlike negotiating with the UK, or negotiating with Japan or China, because you are negotiating with one country is much more easier. In terms of the China situation, this tariff relief is definitely going to help them a lot, because many factories is on the verge of collapse due to because you have to understand, it's not all the companies is on the verge of collapse. It's a lot of companies that they focus primarily on export. This export driven factories, because export focused factories are different from those targeting domestic markets, because they have to adhere to different kind of regulation. The branding is different. The labels are different. There's a lot of difference, and in terms of quality also is different. The export qualities are higher than domestic targeting products as well. So it's not so easy to just turn it around to sell domestically. I mean, they did try because they need to survive, but there is some kind of difference. So these companies that is focusing on export, particularly to United States, and many of them is like, when they say like they focus on export, some of them is like 70% or 80% of their trade is purely to United States. Like, it's not to Europe or any other countries. Like, it's just like focused mostly on United States. These kind of companies were the one that was damaged very, very badly. So I just want to put into some perspective into that. However, of course there's cascading problems, and there's not and also we talk about like 13 to 15%. That's not counting those companies that try to go around the tariff or regulations by doing transshipment via a third country like Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia or Laos or Cambodia to get away from the tariff from the past. Because there is already tariff since the first term of Donald Trump. So this transshipment thing is not new. It's already been going on for a long time. So a lot of this trade is not recorded as direct. So definitely the selling of the products from China to United States is much bigger than the reported number. Is definitely higher. Minimum 20% or even 25, even 30%. That is not a surprise, because it used to be 30%. So yeah, it's not like the United States market shrink or something, so it's still there. So we shall see how this goes. I just want to repeat what I said in the previous videos as well. So we have to look at the two sides. The United States and China have very different strategies. China is going to drag it out for as long as they can, because I have said the way how their government system, the economic system, political system works, they just cannot kneel. Like that's what the word they use, the Chinese use. They were not kneel to the Americans, because they cannot. Once they do that, it's good. The Communist Party is going to get destroyed. So that is not good. So let me change a frame now. Okay, so it's not going to be good for the Chinese Communist Party or the Communist Party of China. They cannot kneel, but at the same time their economic system is very rigid now, and they can't change it. If they change it, there's going to be a lot of pain. There's going to be so much problems. If they could have changed it, they would have changed it. So tentatively, I don't foresee China able to do this deal at all. Whatever we have right now is not a deal. It's just agreement to suspend the tariff, so that the Chinese side can create a proposal to the American side, and the American side can negotiate with the Chinese side and see what works. But I don't think they're going to get a deal. I don't think there's anything that the Chinese can offer that, realistically speaking, that will satisfy the American side, which the Chinese can absorb. I don't think there's any this sort of deal. I don't think is possible. So the best thing the Chinese can do is to drag it out for as long as they can until Donald Trump is out of office, and then pretend that this entire thing never happened before. Just like what happened in the first term. They after all this trade war in the first term, and then they finally signed the first phase of the deal. They have a China-US trade deal. The phase 1, they signed it just when COVID is raging in China in January of 2020. And then after that, COVID came. And this entire trade deal thing got swept under the rug, and the Chinese pretend that it never happened. Biden's administration also never pursued it, so this thing it was not enforced at all, the trade deal. So Donald Trump, so sometimes if you watch some of the speeches or the comments by Donald Trump, or during the press conferences or presses, you may find Trump sometimes say this, because they did sign the deal, the Chinese never really care about it because no one enforced it, and then it didn't work. So that's the strategy the Chinese is going to employ. It's going to drag it out. I don't think the Chinese is in any position to offer anything that will not create more damage to themselves. The economic situation in China is rather bad economically. The only thing going for them is the export market, and yeah. So that's what it is. On the American side, knowing that the Chinese game is going to be to drag it out, which is why the trade war started so early and started so fiercely. So which is why it's maximum pressure. That's why the Trump basically doubled down, making the tariff become stupidly high. So that's one thing. But they are not going to, and that's why they give it the 90 days, you see, to give the Chinese a sweet spot so that they can actually focus on trying to give something to the Americans that the Americans are going to be happy with. I think it's going to be difficult to achieve. Then at the end of the 90 days, I suspect the tariff is going to increase. How much it's going to increase to is going to be that 34% as per the this reciprocal tariff thing that was first announced, which is this one, the 34% on China. So I think this is going to be the tariff. So it's not going to go back to 145%. It's going to be to 34%. But I think at that rate, many of the products is going to have to raise price on the Chinese side, or at least on the American side. The Chinese side, a huge chunk of the products is not going to survive that kind of a percentage. There are still many other products that will survive it, just to note, and we shall see how this goes. But if the Chinese retaliate, then we're going to go back to this tariff war again. Then it's going to tariff up to the point where they're going to cut trade. And I'm not sure if that will be the scenario for now, because I do not know what the Chinese is going to propose. I personally don't think they can propose much things that is going to make Trump happy. So, but I'm not sure China will want to go back into that tariff war, you see, because it's going to be damaging to them. 34%, yes, there's going to be economic damage to China, but I think they can absorb it. And things is going to be more expensive on the American side, but I think many of these supermarkets, departmental stores, and some of these factories, they can absorb it. 34%, I'm quite sure they can absorb it. So or at least pass on half of it to the consumers, which is like 10% more expensive. A $20 thing become $22, $24. I think is I don't think it's going to be much of a problem. So that's the main gist for now. But if the Chinese retaliate, then it's going to be bad. It's going to be a cutting of trade. There are some people on the Trump side is very hell-bent on giving it to the Chinese. But like many economists say, this kind of change should be slow and takes time. And I think that after all these crazy, fireworks, maybe we are now going to see this slow churn, of change in this economic and trade makeup of United States. And also Scott Bessent also say something more regarding what's the future of manufacturing in United States. He continued to say that United States is not aiming to develop manufacturing on the lower end stuff. So clearly, United States is going to still continue to import the lower end products. It is this revolution inside of United States is mainly to produce new age manufacturing, the high tech manufacturing, and also focusing mainly on the strategic interest stuff like steel, like medicine, pharma stuff, everything that was affecting China, affecting United States very badly during the COVID crisis when China blocked export. That was that all those things that is critical to the running of the country, on strategic interest for military use, and all this military production use. All this is going to be rebuilt in United States. So it's not going to be like, United States now want everything back. It's not everything back. However, Trump did gave warning to Apple after hearing news about Apple want to expand its factories in India to bring back manufacturing from to United States instead of expanding in India. I'm not sure what Apple is going to do about it. So that's one thing. And also, I think there's one more. Oh, it just dropped off of my mind. Forgot about it. So I forgot about it. What is it now? So that's the India one. So anyway, that's it. I think this is the trade war stuff. I think it's going to be quite quiet unless there's some negotiation going on. A lot of countries seemingly is now rethinking about whether to rush into a negotiation with the United States because of the China thing, but I think that's going to be a mistake. The 90 days is going to be up very soon. It's going to be at the end of June. So they have 1.5 months left, and they don't quickly make a deal. I think the reciprocal tariff is going to be back. So if they get too relaxed about this, they think that they still have some kind of like a bargaining power. They're gonna suffer quite a bit. Then they're gonna learn that Trump said what he said. I think it is a very weird Trump thing. Everybody keep imagining Trump is meaning another meaning. Like he's literally said what he wants. Then people keep thinking that that is not exactly what he means, but he exactly means what he said. So that is a funny thing. And the press probably contributed to this confusion. Like Trump said one thing, then the press write it in a satirical way. They write it like a mocking way, and then they bring in analysts and experts to explain what Trump says, and usually they explain it wrong. And then, however, the recipients of all this criticism or expectations read the analysts and believe that that's exactly what Trump means. But Trump literally said what he means. Like you know what I mean? It's a very weird thing. Then when Trump actually doubles down or slap the country on whatever he actually promised to do, then the country got shocked. Like, oh, why did he do that? But he literally said what he said. I'm not sure. This is something that I've noticed since Trump's first term. I'm not sure why we keep repeating this thing like after so many years. It's coming to 10 years. Come on. It's why people keep trying to double guess Donald Trump. Like, I don't understand. It's very weird. Everything he say in the plane. So he's so whatever. You just pay attention yourself and you will see what I mean. Trump will say one thing literally in your face, what he means. And then you're gonna see articles and experts second guessing him. And then at the end of the day, the recipient country will get shocked, and then you realize that Trump actually means exactly what he said. This happens so many times already. It's freaking stupid. So anyway, that's it. Thank you for watching. Happy birthday to you if your birthday today. So subscribe if you're, and especially if you have never seen this video before and you watch to this point, I will highly recommend you to subscribe. If you don't subscribe, you'll never see me again, because this is how the YouTube algorithm works nowadays. I have experienced it myself. I saw some new channels and I thought it's nice, but I didn't subscribe. You'll never be recommended ever again on my homepage. So so do subscribe, and thank you for watching. Of course, feel free to have a totally different opinion from me. I'm just sharing what happened factually, and then I just share my opinions for your considerations. But but if you can totally disregard what I say. But the facts are the facts. These are the facts. These are all real things. You can actually Google this. These are all real things. On this webpage. So so the webpage is defensepoliticsasia.com/trade war, in case you do not know. And yeah, those. So otherwise, the analysis is of course my opinion. You can totally don't believe it. It's perfectly fine. And yeah, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next update.